Who knew that that brief encounter would lead us to creating a family resource center with nothing but our wits and a will to not fail? I would like to introduce Ashley, our family resource specialist, who is a remarkable woman herself, and one who lives in the spirit of Alicia Sanchez every day. Welcome, Ashley. Woo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So excited. I have to get it out before I talk because otherwise I'll rush the story and the words are meant to be taken slowly because this journey has been impossibly hard at times and is far, far from over. When I came to Sanchez, I had no idea. I packed up myself and my 2 children. My daughter's graduating from high school next week. And I moved her in the middle of her sophomore year of high school. And I had no idea that I would land in the most loving, committed, amazing community that one could ever be in. So thank you, everyone, for that. And I know that that spirit of Alicia Sanchez and the welcome, the bienvenido, see, that spirit is how our children feel when they come. Whether they've fled a domestic violence issue in another state, whether they've lost a parent, whether they've had to move again and again and again. They've landed with us and we've opened our arms to them. So thank you so much for coming tonight and opening your arms to us and our work. And I want to tell you a story because there's a lot of data in the news about education and specifically about high poverty schools. And a thought that I had the other week is that data is merely a story told with numbers. And before I share the data from our Family Resource Center and how we've reached out to our family and community and how they've reached back to us, I'd like to share one of those stories. It's a story that illustrates what it takes for our students to be in school on time and ready to learn. This story explains how our school moved from adversary to advocate to ally in order to change the family's life that it touched. So I'm going to talk about a student who came in 1st grade, and we're going to call her Lori, even though that's not her name. And when Lori was a kindergartner, before she came to us, she was living in East LA. Her mom was terrified to put her on the school bus, and shortly after she was supposed to have started school, her father's life was taken in gang violence. This murder only cemented the mother's beliefs that it was not safe to send her daughter to school. So when Lori's mom moved to Lafayette to rebuild her life with Lori and her siblings, some there already and some on the way, Lori came to Sanchez as a 1st grader who had never attended school. She had never gone to kindergarten or preschool. She had never sung songs in a gymboree class. Sanchez was her first school experience in 1st grade. So when her attendance began to slip in 1st grade, and for those of you who know me, I am an attendance hound. Like if you don't show up, I come to your house. I'm not joking. We're going to know what's going on, and we'll work together and we'll solve the problem. And so when her attendance started to slip, I reached out to Mom, and because her experience had been so vastly different from what we offer at Sanchez, she pushed back. And as it continued to slip, I continued to reach out. She continued to push back. Social services calls were made. Mom continued to push back. Help was offered yet again, and Mom continued to push back. And then this August, there was a turning point. Mom enrolled her preschool, her oldest preschooler, she has 3, her oldest preschooler in our school. And because she had a newborn baby, it was really challenging to bring all the kiddos out of the car. If you've ever done this, you know what that's like. Get all the kiddos out, get everybody up into school with the baby carriage, And that was just feeling like a barrier to school. So we said, not to worry, we'll send Jesse, who's in the back row, out to the car every day from the Family Resource Center, and he will pick up your preschooler and deliver her to the preschool room so that she can attend school every day. The next week, we happened to have truancy mediation scheduled for the first grader. And I was pretty nervous because it's never a fun activity to go to truancy mediation. I mean, it's a room that's cold with a big screen and all these red lines of all these days that have been missed. And when the mediator started to talk, the mom said, I'll do whatever the school wants me to do because they came out and they walked my daughter up to the school. So at that point in time, Mom began to reach back. And the trust had been formed and the ground had been set. She accepted all the help that Sanchez had to offer. She accepted our literacy programs, our after-school enrichment, in-home tutoring, and family advocacy services while her daughter was being evaluated for special education needs in the community. The list of services were extensive, and yet at the same time, the most important thing is that Lori was in her this time, second grade class, learning with an exceptional teacher who was diligent about her education. So for over 2 years, we've been working with this family, and in those 2 years, Lori has grown to become a reader. Her 3 sisters attend our preschool, and the baby is being cared for by a neighbor who's a parent of Sanchez students, so that the mom can attend college, and she's now in her 2nd semester. Due to the community's investment, today I went to Mapleton Pediatric team evaluation, and if you've ever been to a special education evaluation, as I have, my son's on the autism spectrum, it can be pretty intimidating. There's a lot of experts in the room. And Mom had called me and said, actually, she wrote me a note and said, hey girl, it's tomorrow, 9:30, can you make it? So we went together and we listened to what they had to say. Her daughter has profound special education needs, and the therapist marveled at how she had grown to reach the heights she had reached with the challenges that she faces. And that, to me, is the battle won. So with that, we are changing the odds of the families at Sanchez. The more we reach out, the more our families reach back. The more that we offer, the more they work with us. So this is just one story out of hundreds that connect with our data. Data that told us 3 years ago, before we opened the Family Resource Center, that only 56% of our students came to school enough days to make a year's growth. Just over half. Just over half of our students walked through the door enough days to grow. So how did we change that? Well, there's a lot of things, and a lot of partners, and a lot of time, and a lot of effort by everyone. Our community reached out. We know that 3 out of 4 students at Sanchez live in poverty. We know that students coming from poor homes are 4 times more likely to develop a truancy issue in kindergarten that will follow them the rest of their school career. We also know that students who begin an absenteeism issue in kindergarten will most certainly be the lowest in both math and reading scores by 5th grade. We also know that by 9th grade, the single biggest predictor of high school graduation is attendance. Beyond test scores, it's attendance. In fact, we know that without eliminating a school's truism issue and chronic absenteeism, there is no way to close the achievement gap. The students are not in the classroom able to accept the learning, open to accept that exceptional education, no matter what is being offered to them, unless they are in school, the gap cannot be closed. So knowing all of this, Sanchez decided these 3 years ago to change the odds.